My students, now we can proceed with our second part of our discussion as we try to look about the issue of this reaction of the sodium. The way sodium, it reacts vigorous with the water to form the alkaline solution. The alkaline solution, which is all about the sodium hydroxide, but also there is the liberation or production of this hydrogen gas. So my students, you can see that when we talk about the reaction between metal and water, maana yake kwamba if this metal is soluble in water, obviously we're going to form this alkaline solution or the base solution. Kwa unaona sodium actually is very reactive metal. Anaenda react in a water molecule, mean that it is soluble in water. Therefore, we're going to get this sodium hydroxide solution, but also we are going to liberate this hydrogen gas. So you can see that after that reaction, after the occurring of this reaction, anasema the resulting solution turns red litmus paper blue. Kwamba hii solution ambayo imetokea the sodium hydroxide inaenda kutuletea matokeo mengine kabisa. So you can see that the litmus paper, ambayo litmus paper ni among of the indicator which is useful in the laboratory during experiment. Sasa wakati unafanya experiment yako hii, una sodium metal pale, umedissolve kwenye water and finally umepata formation ya sodium hydroxide. Obviously utaona kuna mabadiliko yanabadilika kwenye ile litmus paper as an indicator. So anasema the resulting solution turns, ina maana yale matokeo yatabadilisha ile indicator. Ilikuwa kwenye rangi nyekundu itaenda itakuwa ya blue, mean that it is from acidity to what? To alkalinity or to basicity. So the resulting solution turns red litmus paper blue, indicating that the solution is basic. Kwa hiyo wewe ukishaona tu ile indicator yako imeundergo changes, imeleta matokeo fulani, obvious una reflect, unajua oh yes, this is due to formation of the sodium hydroxide solution, which is actually the what? The basic or alkalinity solution. Anasema kwamba when calcium metal is added to water, a white suspension of the calcium hydroxide is formed in the completion of the reaction and hydrogen gas is involved. Remember here we are talking about those reactions between metal which react with water or which are insoluble in water. Maana kwamba kuna uwezo wa ile metal kudissolve in water kutengeneza product. So here we have to trace back in those elements. For instance, tumeona kuhusiana na sodium, but how about calcium now? Anasema kwamba calcium metal once it is added, maana kwamba tukireactisha sasa na water, anasema kwamba white suspension of calcium hydroxide is formed. We are going to form this suspension. Ina maana tunaenda kunakuwa na some of the particles which will appear there, which will form this suspension. When I'm talking about suspension, I hope you understand. Kwa hiyo calcium itakapokuwa added kwenye water molecule, of course tutaenda kutengeneza ile hydroxide ambayo ni inorganic compound. Lakini itakuwa is kind of the suspension. So anasema kwamba once this is added in water, a white suspension of calcium hydroxide is formed in completion. Sasa ile suspension inaonekana baada ile reaction complete. Ukishamwadi calcium pale kwenye water, you have to settle for some time ili reaction it take place. Sasa anasema kwamba kwenye completion, mwishoni kabisa wa hii reaction, ndipo ile white suspension itakuwa observed. But finally anasema kwamba the completion of the reaction, there will be releasing of this hydrogen gas. Anasema kwamba hydrogen gas is involved. The word involved here, it can be used as released, liberated, the same. Yani sasa na kwamba hydrogen inakuwa inatoka pia au inakuwa formed wakati ya hii reaction ina take place. So can you see the difference? Kule kwenye sodium tunatengeneza a strong alkaline solution, lakini hapa kwenye calcium kuna kuwa na hizo observation of suspensions of calcium hydroxide solution which is white. Okay, now anasema kwamba this suspension indicates that calcium hydroxide is sprangly soluble. Sasa lazima tujue kwa nini calcium yenyewe anatengeneza ile suspension, the white suspension of calcium hydroxide. Ni kwa nini? Lakini utaona kwenye sodium it was it was a vigorous reaction between sodium and the water, and therefore the alkaline solution formed easily kabisa. Lakini utaona hapa kuna changamoto. Kwa calcium tumeambiwa mpaka reaction i-complete ndipo tutakapokuwa tunaona zile hydrogen gas inakuwa released, lakini pia at the same time kuna ule weupe, ni kama ukungu fulani unatokea. Anasema kwamba the suspension of the calcium hydroxide is formed. Sasa ni kwa nini ile suspension inakuwa inatokea? Anasema this suspension indicate that calcium hydroxide is sprangly soluble. Kumbe hii ndio sababu kwa nini suspension of the calcium hydroxide is formed. Kwamba calcium ana peculiar characteristic, ina maana ana sifa ya kipekee kwamba yeye sio directly soluble in water, ingawa anakuwa ni partially. Anasema kwamba is sprangly soluble. Because when we talk about solubility, kuna ile ambayo ina dissolve directly, lakini kuna ile ambayo ina dissolve lakini bado inatengeneza zile particles ina remain. Ina maana haiendi completely, inakuwa ni kama partial. So here calcium yeye ana react with water, and the kind of the solubility inatokea ni sprangly soluble. The sprangly soluble, that's the reason. Kwa hiyo ukikutana na hii swali nataka utoe maelezo, don't get confused. That is the simple meaning, kwa sababu calcium it is sprangly soluble in water, therefore that's why the white suspension of calcium hydroxide is formed. So my student, this is the reaction which show demonstrate this reaction between calcium metal with water. So this is our calcium metal. It is added now with water. Tunaposema it is added to water, maana kwamba reaction ina take place ambapo reactant zetu ni calcium na nini na water. So this reaction you see here, calcium reacts with 2 mole of water molecule, and therefore we are going to form this calcium hydroxide solution. Of course it is aqueous solution, it is a basic solution, but inakuwa na sifa zake za kipekee kwa sababu inakuwa inatengeneza ile suspensions, the white suspension solution, but also there is hydrogen gas as you see here in the reaction. Okay, so my student, how about magnesium? How about magnesium? Anasema kwamba magnesium reacts slightly with water to form magnesium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. Yenyewe ina react slightly. Kwa hiyo utakuja kuona utofauti. Sodium ilikuwa vigorously, lakini calcium tumeambiwa it is soluble sprangly soluble. Sasa how about magnesium? Na sodium utaona kwamba alikuwa ni member wa alkali au group number 1A, lakini calcium ni member group number 2, but also magnesium is the member of the group number 2. Sasa hapa kwenye magnesium tunaambiwa kwamba it reacts slightly with water to form magnesium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. Kwamba yenyewe ina react slightly. So this is the reaction which demonstrates this process. Kwamba this is magnesium metal plus 2 molecules of water. We are going to have this magnesium hydroxide plus hydrogen gas. But remember, our main concern is to ensure that we have this compound, inorganic compound with OH. Well, as long as we have this magnesium hydroxide, it's okay. It's okay, but just the reaction between this metal of magnesium and water occur slightly. It occurs slightly. So my student, this is all about our discussion, and you can see that zile reactions zote, kwa mfano unapokuja kwenye group number 1A element utaona zina display features zake. Kwa mfano sodium, tuna potassium, zote zile ni very very reactive metal, kama tulivyoona mwanzoni kwamba ile reactivity, those metals with highly active ndio itakayopelekea the issue of the solubility. Sasa ndio maana unaona nyingine it is vigorous, inakuwa soluble, nyingine ni sprangly, nyingine ni slightly. It depends because of the nature of the element in the issue of the reactivity. So my student, after saying so, I would like to say this marks the end of our discussion. Thank you so much for watching our Media Educare TZ. Now my student, I would like to say bye bye and welcome in the next discussion.